Hey y'all, we're just winding down a day of playing around out in the garage a little bit and chasing around all over town about these radiators, these heater core things that we talked to Brian about a little bit, and things that he's running. He gave us a little insight, like he said, where on e-cart news there, where he'd buy say 6 radiators and 1 out of 6 would be the right one. I don't know what it is about that 89 Windstar van. There's not a lot of them on the road, if there's any of them, so it's hard to find this stuff. And the manufacturers seem to be getting away from aluminum and going to the copper and brass. So the same part number yielded 3 different pieces today. 3 different, the same but different pieces altogether. One, the wrong part inside a mismarked box. One all copper and brass, and one aluminum with the wrong tubes on it. So what we ended up finding, what we had yesterday, we took back. That little one we were all excited about was actually too little. I mean, it really did look small. Looking at the pictures Brian sent me with a tape measure, it was hard to believe that tape measure in his pictures because the pictures made the radiator look so darn big. But once we took pictures of the ones we found here and just got done conversing with him, I looked back at the pictures I took and they looked a lot bigger than the physical parts are. So this is what we found. We've come up with 2. This one here is 6 inches by 7 1/4, 7 1/2. Let's take a look. 7 1/2. This one here, a bit bigger piece. Looks like the fins are a little tighter. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can see that. The fins are quite a bit denser, I think, than maybe here. Or maybe it's just because they're like a more silvery color. I don't know. Brian thinks to stay away from this because it's denser and he doesn't have any experience with it. But I like this radiator. We're not going to use this one. We're going to end up going with this one for the Gingerman trial, because this is the most closest size to what Brian's using. And it has 3/4 inch pipes. We're going to end up cutting these pipes off and connecting our 5/8 hose right to this. We might flare a little bit. We may not even have to, because it's 3/4 inch. The 5/8 hose is going to have to stretch to get in. It's already going to be a little tight getting on there anyway, right? So we might just flare the end just a little bit, just because we don't want to get hot water all over us. But this is the one that we'll end up running, and we'll give this a go and see what happens. This one here, I'm really excited about. This, we may end up using this on the new cart that we're building. This will, believe it or not, fit in the front of the cart. It's the same. Let's walk over here. It's the same as the mock-up that we used up in the front of the cart there. This cardboard mock-up, right? And the way it sits here, those low-lying areas of the nose, like I was talking about, actually clears all this. So this is basically just the core. You add the tanks off each side. I think the short one is adding another 1/2 inch to this side, and then this should be another inch or so, because But that actually, that is a little bigger than the core. So if we went all the way to the end of the tank, all we're missing is that tank. So this unit will actually fit in there. We can get it into this cart without having to readjust the nose. Again, we'd have to do the same thing with these tubes. We'd have to whack them off and try to get a little flare on them, and then put a preformed 90 rubber hose on, because of well, let me show you. Because of the way the front of our cart is, we'd have to put this thing way over here, to get it in the middle of the existing hole that's already in the nose. You can see I put little scribe lines on the floor tray where that air box actually sits, right? So the air box is actually even a little bigger than this bit here. We'll have to rig up a new air box, but it's going to be something temporary, super temporary. We've only got, it's Saturday evening. It's 10:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we'll get this thing set up as quickly as we can. The more I look at that, the more I like that big old radiator. But we don't have any data on something like this. This is even I guess a tighter fin per inch than even Brian was comfortable with. So he said he has radiators like this, but he hasn't tried them because of that. I like it. I don't know. We may come back tomorrow and find out that I've gone with this one instead of that one. But this one's going to be a little easier to mount. We peel off all that foam, and like I said, it's just whack, whack. We get some preformed 90 rubber hose, and we're in business. The engine is pretty much ready to go. We got all the mounts and bolts and stuff hooked up. We're going to do a little bit of work to the shift lever. It was on a bit of a smaller bolt, and we're going, this was what was on the other cart. So we have to adapt. The black shift lever goes on the old motor. We got to update that to bigger hardware, but I mean, it's nothing. We'll have the engine on and all that stuff replumbed back up in no time tomorrow. After church, of course, y'all need to get yourselves to church. Like I said, the Apostle Paul says we have to run the race to win. We're running a race. And it's a lifelong thing, and we have to finish the race strong. So it has nothing to do with racing go-karts. God first, everything else second. And that's just the way it is over at the RPM house. So that's what we're going to do. We'll play with these here. It took us all day. We ran across town to an O'Reilly's 3 different times, telling them, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And they kept, shipping parts in and calling me 3 hours later, and I'd run back. Had to go all the way to the north side of Mount Clemens for this one. This is the one we got from the O'Reilly. So this was AutoZone. This is O'Reilly's. Crazy they got this pinch down. We could probably loosen that up and turn. Don't even get me started. Going to head in for the night, get us some rest, because there's going to be at least 3-4 intense days of trying to get this thing track worthy and track ready, so we can go out and do some testing and test this thing and find out. Is this the ticket? Is this what's going to cool off the RPM hot rod? Even though it's not the same motor, we had the same problems with that engine, with the ignition cutting out because the water temperature, that motor ran too hot as well on water. So motor isn't going to make any difference. We had this water temperature problem even when we had the Honda on this cart. So there you go. That's where we're at. Saturday evening, we're going to shut it down, get us some rest. Go to church in the morning and get straight with the Lord, and then we're going to come out here and we're going to tear it up. Hope to see you all at the track. If not, pay attention to the videos. We'll bring you some interesting stuff during the week. But until then, we just got to get this thing put together. What a mess. Love y'all.